Welcome to Timber&Terra. I'm Glenn. This is our ongoing saga of making a road in the field. Some equipment down there. Last time we left, I had just cleared off sort of a 6 to 8 inch layer of dirt, soil, clay, if you will, just fill material from here, so that we can bring the lawn from the edge of where it is now up to the edge of the road, which is going to be right here. And that makes for about a 12-foot wide road or driveway. It tapers in from the entrance, which is probably about 30 feet or so, down to 12 feet, and continues on. So the first agenda item today is to move some topsoil from where the excavator is and put it on top of here and spread it out. I don't have all the topsoil I need right there. I may use some from up here. There's some other piles down there that I know are going to be excess topsoil, more than I need, just to fill in the side of the road like I did here. So let's do an update. All the topsoil here, I think that I need is here. Just needs to be spread. Some of it's quite wet. It's actually stinky because it started to compost as it was sitting there. I'm going to let it dry out for a couple days, which is good because I have my day job to attend to. I don't know how many loads there were. 10-ish, something like that. 10, 12, maybe more. So that would be, I think it's 5 yards roughly for load, so 50 yards, something like that. So for the most part, except for spreading that, I'm done sort of the rough entryway and moving on to bigger and better things. And as it turned out, I didn't need to come up here to grab any of this topsoil, although I have more here than I need. I don't think this video will get to this this ditch. What the plan is here, sort of the uphill side of the ditch. So what I have done is the lower side, if you will, the downhill side of the road. I've spread the topsoil. That which I left here, the excess is what I just got done moving, and just tracked it in. I mean, I spread it in with the excavator. It's actually, I don't know if I'm just more used to it or I prefer to do this sort of leveling with the excavator rather than the bulldozer. I guess more the fine grading, you might say. Obviously the dozer is best for larger quantities. So there's a culvert. I'll neaten that up. There'll be quite a bit of handwork around the culverts and stuff where I just can't do that with machinery. So here's a good look of, this is a good look, basically started there today and around the corner up to where this topsoil pile is. So I still have excess topsoil, particularly here because the road's basically at an original ground level, so I don't need to build anything up. I didn't need to push anything off. I'll use a little bit here because now we're getting just above original grade. I do need a little bit more fill here in the road, but that will come from this section here. So really the last big section that I plan to do this year is right up here. So the last culvert, this is an 18-inch culvert, is going to go right here. This is sort of a more established drain of the field, if you will. It drains a lot more of the field. And this is still sort of running. I mean, there's obviously standing water. There's not an established creek bed, if you will. But it is fairly rocky, I think. You can almost see that piece of granite or whatever that big rock is up there. The water sort of comes from that area. It drains a lot of the field into behind the tree line as well. So when it rains, there's a lot of water that comes off here. So put that culvert in and strip the topsoil here, basically up to sort of right there where the top of the grade ends and it flattens out. So beyond that, we don't know exactly where we're going to go, placing a house or a cabin somewhere up there, but we haven't figured that out exactly quite yet. So we'll just get the road to that area. So I'm hoping by the end of this video we'll have stripped the remaining section of road of the topsoil and at least put this culvert in and maybe started to grade out the rest of this. There's a big frog. So I tried a different technique there. You saw it going 90 degrees to the right. I did a little bit of that back there, but mostly I sort of went at an angle or parallel with the road. But I think this actually worked better. Got the bulk of the sod up. Now I'm just going to run down and clean up the remaining topsoil down to sterile, the inorganic stuff, the clay. And then this will be ready for the final grade. I think that worked fairly well. That was in real time, that was about 1 hour to strip the sod and then more or less, you know, smooth out underneath the sod. So there's probably a little bit of mixture. I'm sure I got a little bit of clay in the topsoil, and you can tell obviously here I've left a little bit of topsoil and the clay. But so this will probably set for another day or so until I have a chance to come back. So I may try to scrape some of this bit of remaining topsoil off. You see, this is real gray clay, and more up here is darker. But you can see here the sod was pretty, that's probably 14-16 inches deep. I see this quite often around when I dig. It's just little pockets of what look like wood ash, but it's not. I'm sure it's just some different type of soil or minerals, but I don't know what it is. So this will be the end. So up here, I'm thinking the driveway or road will probably go around that way, but I'm not sure. It might just go that way. So that's one reason to end it here, because I just don't know. We just don't know. My supervisor and I, my wife, don't know exactly where it's going to go from here. So it's a long and winding road. So this section I did here, I should measure it out, but I'm guessing it's probably 125, maybe 175 feet, somewhere in there. So 150 feet plus or minus, that's my guess. I will measure it out and I will put the actual measurement right up here. So it actually wasn't nearly as rocky right here as I thought it was going to be. I mean, there's obviously a fair amount of stones, some real big ones over there, a couple of big ones right there. Anyhow, so the next step is to put the culvert in. So to do that, I'm going to push some of that dirt, and that's a little bit of a high spot anyhow as far as the level of the road goes. Push that this way so I have some good material to fill that with. Dig a trench from stake to stake roughly, and that'll be it for culverts and drainage. Well, as far as drainage, I still have ditches to do. So the sun is setting, so am I. See ya on another day. So we're back at it on a frosty morning. That's the area that we just cleared. Actually, it was a couple evenings ago. So that's sort of ready. The topsoil is all off, so it's just ready to be the road to be built up to whatever level and grade. I had mentioned taking dirt from over that side and pushing it to put the culvert in with, but I actually decided on this side, so that's what that pile of dirt is. Back here I think it should be relatively easy to see. So that flat spot there that I've worked on is flat. I still got to go down probably a foot or two, and here it's sort of slanted to the right quite a bit. So I'm going to take some more off of this side. It is hard stuff, so I'll show you how the blade digging into that and how it works. And some of that I'll push over here to the right, because that needs to come up just a little bit, but for the left needs to come down more than the right needs to come up. So I'll continue making that pile, and I'll use that pile to put the culvert in, because that's really good dirt. So my plan here for the culvert is, this is quite a slope. I'm not sure if I was to take level from the uphill side, guessing it's probably 3 or 4 feet up like this. I'll probably just clean this out. This will be a dissipator pad. You can see there's a bunch of big rocks that I've collected. There's a monster one. And plenty out there, plenty of rocks to make a nice dissipator pad and to make little rock walls around the inlet and outlet. So I'll clean this area up here, that'll be the outlet, and then I'll start digging in there to see what that looks like. So taking a look at I guess the downstream road, I don't know, that side of the road and that side of the road, I'm thinking I want the culvert top to basically be about level with the existing grade. And I don't want to, maybe even a bit lower, because I don't want to bring this grade up anymore, because it's already gonna have to fill in over there. So I will shoot for that. I will put this just below existing grade, the top of the culvert, and then see what a proper slope is on the other side, see how high that rises it. So I've got the trench, the depth that I want it, the slope, the drop is pretty good. But what I've noticed is this material here is a lot more rocky than I believe that is. Now it could be this is just real wet, because it is. But I think the material there is better to pack with and to seal around the culvert. So I'm going to line a little bit of that on the bottom before I put the culvert in, and then that'll be real nice to fill in around it. So that's about 2 inches on 4 feet. I think that's good. Half inch per foot. So I'm just going to do a little shovel work to make sure it's resting on a flat surface, and then we'll come back. So the fall is good. The placement's good. I did tweak it a little bit that way, so it's more perpendicular with the road. I'm going to verify it's centered in the road before I fill it in, but well, I've stolen all the dirt that I can from this area, or probably, it's going to be close to 3 feet between here and the top of the grass there. Stolen all that I can, but I still have some material here that I need. We need to slope that before I put the topsoil back on. Obviously I need to neaten up around the outfeed of the culvert, and I need a fair amount of fill here, just where the drop off is here, and then just enough fill really to bring it back to the level of where the sod was, so that the road is above the adjacent land. So to steal that dirt, I had talked earlier about making ditches here, sort of a U-shaped with the rock lining, but after consulting with my supervisor, my wife, we decided that we would rather have a ditch where the grass comes up right to the road, and then sort of a grass ditch. I mean, there's not going to be a lot of a flow here of water. But what that means is actually it's probably a lot less work in the end, because, you know, placing those rocks is time consuming. And I don't have enough. I'd have to buy some. But it also is good because this gives me a lot more fill. So I'm going to start stripping the topsoil here. I just need to figure out, you know, where back here to start the slope, you know, so it's not too steep to mow. You can see the farmer has actually mowed the field for the first time this year. Here it is, almost October, and he's doing his first cutting just because it's been so wet. So probably maybe not quite up to where he stopped mowing. I'll start angling it down, and then put the sod back on so we can mow it and make the ditch that way. But in the meantime, I think I'll start here at the culvert, push the topsoil and the sod over here to the left, and then it'll be easy just to throw the material onto the road and then push it where I need to. hopefully it's easy to see here what I'm trying to do. That's the original ground level is right there where the excavator's sitting in. Just sort of slope it down. Because I've got a bunch of dirt covering it, it's hard to know exactly what the level of the road is, where the edge of it is here. You can see I've sort of gone in way too far, but I'll clean this up and then it'll be a process. I'll hog out most of the stuff like this, and then I'll have to go back and sort of fine tune it, make sure this is low enough so that when we put the topsoil back on, it's below the finished road level. And this is not the finished road level. I'll probably put some 4 to 6 inches of gravel on top eventually. So I need to see if I can push these rocks off the edge. They're decent rocks, plus they're a bit too big to try to use to grade out, because if I am using it where I only need a lift of 4 to 6 inches, and those will not work well. They won't be buried. So I'll move those off to the side with the dozer and then push this dirt up that way, and then continue making progress till the end. So I used up that little bit of dirt, and you can see here that I still need to dig down next to the road quite a bit, but same procedure. So it's really a rinse and repeat until either I get to the four-wheeler, which is sort of the end of where I need to do this, but I'm hoping that we'll have enough dirt here before I reach the end. There's plenty more of this ditching that I need to do up there, so there's still plenty of soil to get, but I'd have to trailer it. So I still have some things to do towards the end of the road, not much, at least that I have to do or want to get done this fall. I do want to move this rock over to the corner there now that we sort of finished the grade. So just like I pushed it over here, push it over here with the dozer. Hopefully it sort of stays on top of the topsoil and doesn't sort of try to dig into it too much. The other thing to try to finish up as much of the entranceway here as I can is This has been sitting here for several weeks. I'm gonna see if I can back drag it to make it a bit smoother. It was difficult to do with the sod clumps and as wet as it was. And the topsoil we have here on the other side of the driveway, I will smooth out with a dozer as well, since I will have it down here. Well, that worked out really well. Went pretty easy. So the idea here is just going to be a sort of a decorative rock. It's just going to be mowed around it, so I left plenty of room for a mower to go around it. And the round here will probably either just be grass or maybe some flowers and mulch or something. But that's for a later year. But for now, this area I'm going to back drag. When I backed up to push the rock, I did back drag it here, and it did make quite a difference. So I think it'll be fine to grow a field without any further work. I'll just back drag it different directions, fill in some low spots, scrape off any high spots. Well, that turned out as good as I could have expected. I mean, you're not obviously going to get it real smooth like with a power rake, and I can't avoid the windrows where the edge of the blade is, but it, like I said, it'll settle in and be fine, at least for a hay field. And this is a bit more challenging just because I hadn't spread it out and let it set, so it looks pretty good. It probably would also be fine for a field. But I think I'll let it dry out a bit and then back drag it some more. This took a lot of passes back and forth to even get it where it is now. So with this done, we'll move back to the end of the road and show you the slight alteration we're going to do. So this is the culvert we just put in, the 18-inch most recently. And the end of the road here, I had started pushing some fill up, so the grade is pretty decent. But what we've decided to do, instead of sort of dogleg to the left a little bit and go straight up the hill like we did there, we're gonna hug the bank a bit. It does drop off right about there, but that means removing these trees here. We thought we would leave those those are young poplars, but for a bunch of reasons we decided to remove them. And then I'm just going to push the road a little bit to the right. So whether we'll leave this little jog here and then sort of make a snake and then to the right, or whether I cut this out and then make it a straight shot from the culvert we just passed up there. So for now, I'm going to take out those trees, take the rolls of topsoil sod and move it off to the left, and then scrape the topsoil off a bit to the right, and then just sort of relocate the end of the road. So now with the trees removed from the other end, you can see it's really probably going to be more or less a straight shot from that little bend right there. Right there. So I'll come over here near where the tripod is and just skirt here. There's not much of a drop off here, but starting here and over where these little saplings are is quite a drop off, so I'm not going to go over there. But basically up here where it flattens out, and again sort of stop in the same area because we don't know exactly what it's going to look like here. Maybe sort of hug the tree line and go around to the left. But I think that looks a bit better. I left a little bit of a jog there right here at that first corner to the left, but not nearly as sharp as it was, and it goes nicely there to the right. So this is pretty much the end, I think, of this segment. I will push a bit more of that bank dirt that I've been digging out up here to raise it up a bit and to flatten it out. But other than that, the next video will be really just sort of neatening up the sides, nowhere near completion. That'll probably be for next year. But the next video may be the last one for the year on this, may not, I'm not sure. But it'll focus on just neatening up the culverts, making sure I have ditches along all the roads, so there will be a fair amount of digging to make sure I have good drainage. So I appreciate you watching this one. Stay tuned for the next. Thank you.